Hello, welcome to Boardgames with Niramas. I'm Joseph and I'm here today to talk about 10 more games. The top 20, well, 20 to 11. So 10 more cool games that I really love. That's why they are this high up on my list. And then in, just a day, tomorrow, you will be able to check out the top 10 where I go through the top 10 games that I like. And together with friends, Andreas and Mats, they're also going to share their top 10s, just like they did last year. So we get a bit of debate or discussion going on about our picks, and it's really fun as well. And before we get going, I would also like to mention that the giveaway for 4,000 subscribers celebration is ongoing right now on the channel. So go check that video out. You can see how you can enter the giveaway and win, games and promos and fun game-related stuff. There's a lot of stuff to win there. Go check that out. There will be a live draw the 28th of December at 9 p.m. Central European Time. So there's still, over a week left to enter the giveaway. So don't miss that. Go check it out. So let's get going. Let's get started with number 20. So my number 20 was 31 last year. Moved up a little bit. I enjoyed this game for years, but it goes up and down. And it's Dominion. Dominion is the sort of starter, the mother of the deck builders. This is how the deck building really got started. This is how it really got all that fan base. People really love deck building, and so do I. And I think Dominion has a lot of good stuff going for it. Now the base game, I would get bored of that pretty soon, I think, but there's so many expansions. There's like, I don't know, 10 or more, I think. I haven't played them all. I haven't played all the expansions, and I haven't played even in one expansion. I really enjoy Prosperity because it adds more money, higher currency values and so on. But in there's all these combinations, of course, of how you have the cards out. So, this it feels like infinite replayability in this game. And I really like how it's just, it's just, it's just deck building. That's the whole thing. There's not much else around it. It's just this, build your deck, play your cards, get the effects, and when you play this with some friends that we all know the game very well, it goes really quick. It's like boom, boom, boom on your turn, and then it's the next player's turn. And yeah, I really enjoy it. It's really quick and fun, and I really like how all these expansion changes up the game, and how when you start playing, you look out on the board or the table, and you look at all these card piles that are out there, depending on how you set it up. And you need to find, okay, how do I solve this? How do I solve this puzzle? In which order should I get the cards? And which strategy should I pursue? So really enjoy Dominion. Now let's head to number 19. Okay, so 19 is also a smaller style card game, but this is very different from Dominion. This is called For Sale. And For Sale is it's a very simple game. It has some resemblance to poker, basically, where you have these coins or tokens that you bet on buying different types of property. That's the theme of it. There's some cards out there. You can buy those in order, and you bet on whoever, gets the win or is the highest bidder gets the highest value on the table at that moment. And then you do it again a few times, and then you go backwards. So then you take your properties that you have on hand with values from 1 to 30, and then you will blind bid, sort of. You will take one of those cards, put it out face down on the table, everybody flips it up at the same time, and you bid on money stacks or money cards. So you're selling the property that you bought in the first phase of the game. And it's quick, easy to play. You can play this with pretty much anyone. This is my go-to game when I'm going to have, I'm going for an after work with some work colleagues or something that are not into gaming at all. I bring For Sale because it's so easy to get into, and people enjoy it, people having a laugh. As soon as, this is one of those games that I don't really teach before you start playing. It's like you teach it while you play because it's so easy, and you need to see what happens to understand it, really. And as you can see here, I did a video with Draco, the little penguin guy, trying to demonstrate a 3-player game, but it's really hard to sort of demonstrate in that way. But there is a video if you want to check out how the basics for the game is, because it's very easy to learn. Really enjoyed a lot For Sale. And then next up we have Raiders of the North Sea. And this is a worker placement game. Now I'm showing you here the digital version on Steam because that's the one I did a video for. I didn't do one for the actual board game, even though I played it a few times. I really enjoy it a lot. That's why it's this high on my list. This game has some really interesting mechanisms where you're not only placing a worker. When you place one worker, you pick up another worker, and you get to do both effects from those spots that those workers are in. And then you're trying to gather resources in order to go up here and plunder, because you're Vikings going out to plunder, right? And so when you plunder, you will get some more resources or gold and so on that you can trade in for victory points. And it's a really interesting thing in this game with the whole, well, the worker placement thing is interesting, but also this game it's sort of it's like a race. You're trying to race to, because there's this finite number of these places that you can raid. So you need to, if you want to go for one of them, you'll see that there's some nice, things out there, some nice prizes to grab for raiding it, because those are put out randomly. Then you need to be quick about it, because you need to do it before your opponent does it. So, yeah, it's a bit of a race at the same time as you're getting resources. You can play some cards. There's some take that in the game. Might not be that really my favorite part of the game, but it's okay. It's a few cards that mess with your opponent, but mostly I like this interaction of like, okay, I'm blocking spaces, like the classic worker placement interaction. So really enjoy Raiders of the North Sea, and I can recommend this version on the digital version as well, because you can play like solo in a campaign mode, and so it's pretty fun. So yeah, go check it out. Then we have another worker placement game called Alchemists. And this one I haven't filmed, so I'm just showing the Board Game Geek page here. Quite hard to film this game in some ways, but I can describe it to you. It's really cool because you have these shields that you're, have your stuff behind on the table. And in this little pyramid, you're keeping track of what you found out about different ingredients, because this is a deduction game. It's a bit like Sudoku in some ways, and it's really cool because it has an app integration. So the sort of app knows, it knows the correct answer to all of these like questions. Okay, the feather, what does the feather contain? All of these ingredients have a different, two of different components that make them. And so you're trying to solve that, you're trying to figure that out, and you do it in a really fun way, because you're out on this board doing worker placement. Let's see if we can find a good picture of that. And it's so much fun because you're on this board placing your workers, and in a really interesting way as well. I really like when they do some kind of twist to the classic worker placement. And in this case, whoever goes sort of last is placing the workers first, so that then but it's like then you resolve them in player order. So being first, you have the sort of advantage of seeing what the other people have done, and by that way you can figure out what you need to do. And what you do on the worker placement is you pick up ingredients, you can get some artifacts that help you out with special powers, and you can sell ingredients and so on. But to find out what those ingredients lead to, sort of what they contain, then you need to test them out, and you test them out either on yourself, which means you could go crazy if you get the wrong stuff in you. So there's like some funny text in the rulebook on how your wizard, which or the alchemist that you represent, is running around naked in town, and that lowers your reputation obviously among the wizards or the alchemists. And when you sort of think that you have, or know, because you can know at some point because you keep track, and you can know for sure what something is in there as the game goes by. At some point, you want to publish a thesis at university of alchemists, and having a sort of a thesis on what the feather contains. And at the end of the game, you check if that was correct. And if it was, then you get points. If it wasn't correct, you lose points. So this is one of those games where you can actually end up with like negative points in the end if you did really bad. But there's so much fun going on in this game. I really enjoyed it a lot. I like deduction, I like the components and all that. I like this app integration, and I like the worker placement. So there's so many good things going for this game, and that's why it's this high on my list. And then coming in at number 16 on my list is another worker placement game called Pursuit of Happiness. And in this one, it's not the worker placement that's really shining, it's the theme. This is one of those really thematic Euros. I think maybe the most thematic in some ways that I know of. It's so cool because you're trying to find happiness, and you're living a life basically from a young age to old age, or to your die basically of old age. And during this life, you can do projects, you can get into relationships, you have different jobs you can pursue. But you got to be careful so you don't do too much of it, because then you get stressed out and then you will die sooner rather than later. And you can exercise so you get some more health and you can survive longer. So this is one of those games like I might play one more round than you do in the game, because I went for some exercise during the game. and focus spending time on that, because the workers, the pawns that you put out on the board is these hourglasses, and they represent time, your time you spent. But you want to be careful like how you spend them. It is basically in its core, it's a resource conversion or resource management game, because you have these resources that like creativity or social skills and so on, that you sort of have to spend in order to do different things. Like if you want to get into a relationship, you might need to have some social skills or even some money, depending on the partner, and so on. And then that partner will give you some happiness, both short term and long term. And you might, make a family, and that will get you more happiness. But it will also take up more of your time, so you will have less time to do, go skiing or whatever project you want to do. Really fun game, and I always have a blast playing this. And this is one of those games I don't like to play it as a competitive game for sure. I want to have, sit around having a laugh and telling a story basically together and talking about our characters. Oh, what are you doing on your turn and so on. It's so much fun. Pursuit of Happiness, really enjoy it. And at number 15, same game that was at number 15 last year, it's still at 15, and I think it probably will stay there. Endeavor: Age of Sail. This is a reprint of Endeavor that came out, I don't know, 10, 12 years ago, but this came out last year, and I really enjoy it a lot. It has so much nice stuff going for it. Now I'm playing here with like the deluxeified version from Kickstarter, which I backed. Really enjoy that one with like the layered board, and there's so much good stuff going on. But the gameplay in itself is so good. It's sort of this action selection. You build buildings every turn, or a building, and then you can place your workers or your pawns on that building in order to do different actions. And you sail and you conquer and so on, occupying cities out on the board. And you're trying to find these connections, because as you can see here, there's all these little chits out on the board to start off with. And whenever you place your little disc somewhere, then you take that chit that was there, and that increases your meters in order to, you get more building skills or more economy and so on. And so you keep building that up and you're getting, this is one of those games that at the start of the game, you can do like 2 actions and that's it on your turn. But as the rounds go, you really feel like the development. It's really satisfying how you feel that you can do more and more, and you can find these combos, because these lines that you can see up here as well, they connect different cities and so on. So if you have both cities at the end of a line, then you get whatever token is in the middle as well. There's so much nice combos, fun stuff going on here. As you can see the board here, you move your little pieces up there in order to indicate how much you sort of, how far you gotten on a track. And that also gives you points as well. Really fun game, really enjoyed it a lot. Endeavor: Age of Sail. Then we have my favorite racing game, Automobiles, as it's called. It's sort of like, it's like a Dominion, but with a bag. It's actually really basically the same mechanism, but you have a bag, so you're just a bag builder. You put these cubes in the bag, you get new cubes, and then you pull out cubes every round in order to do different actions, to basically drive on this racetrack and be the first to hit the goal, of course. Something really cool about this game is, well, first of all, I like the whole bag building aspect of it, but I also really like how these cubes in different colors, like the gray and the white and the dark gray and the black, they all represent different parts of the track that you can drive on. It's like gears, basically. And yeah, shaking up the bag. And then you also have these different colored cubes that represents different things, different benefits that you can do with your car, depending on which cars you pull out each game. So there's a different kind of setting of cards that you used in each game, and that defines what the cube makes. And that's such a good idea. It's a good design idea, and they did it later on as well in Quacks of Quedlinburg. It's the same system there, where the different tokens can mean different things depending on the game, and that makes for a lot of variation in the game. And it's sort of, again, like Dominion. You look at okay, so what's the setup for this game? And then you need to figure out which strategy am I going for. You can really push it and drive fast and hard. But if you do, you will, take a lot of wear on the car, which is these brown cubes that just clog up your bag and they don't do anything for you. Or you can drive a bit slower, but avoiding the wear. And yes, it's really cool, and I really had a good time playing this with Draco and this run through as well. So go check that out if you haven't. One of my favorite games, Automobiles. And then we have my favorite game, designed by Stefan Feld, my favorite designer as well. And in this one, Castles of Burgundy, as it's called, you are rolling your 2 dice every round, and then you use those dice either to go to the main board in order to pick up a tile. It could be like a a ship, it could be some animals, or a building for your city and so on. And then, or you can use your dice in order to, if you already collected a city to your sort of storage city tile, then you can place that out in your little area with building your castles in Burgundy. And this game has, as it looks here, and this is a fairly old video as well, one of the first one I did on the channel. It's really bad component quality, to be honest. The really thin, bad tiles and all that. But it did a new version that came out at Spiel just recently here, with the sort of deluxified and with the expansions. And I didn't get a copy back then, but I am going to pick up a copy as soon as I can here in Sweden, because I really enjoy this game. It's so much fun. It's really wow. This is one of the board games that was one of the first games that I played. I mean, I played a bunch of games before this, but one of the first that I played that really got me hooked on this whole medium weight Euro combo wombo multiplayer solitaire games, which I love a lot. So yeah, in Coast of Burgundy, it's just like every time it's your turn, you have this little, what am I supposed to do? Am I going for this or that? And what is, the best for me in the long run? And nobody's really messing with your plans, except taking the tiles that, you draw tiles from the main board. So, there's some kind of interaction there. But I really like how I can sit in my own mind and just, figure out the puzzle and how to do it the best way. So yeah, older video here with Draco, but I think the video was actually really good. It was like the first video I really felt, really good about. So go check it out if you haven't. All the links will be down in the description as well to all the videos shown here and the Board Game Geek pages. Okay, let's head to the next one. Then we have a bit of a cheating here, but in this spot I have a bunch of games, but it's Legendary Encounters series, because these games are so similar in the mechanism and so on, so it's more like different themes in the games, so that's why I put them all in one spot. And what you can see here is the Xfiles game. It's the latest one in the Legendary Encounters series, and I really enjoyed it, but I think my favorite of all these are Alien, though, because of the theme is so strong in that one. The theme is strong in all these games, and it's amazing how they just, with some deck of cards, they manage to tell a story, and sort of you play, like in the X-Files, you play through different seasons, basically, of the TV show, or in Alien, you play like through the movies, and you really feel like you do the things that, it makes sense, everything you do. And I'm so impressed also by how they integrated the mechanisms with the theme in a game, in a way that not many games do. A lot of games could have a strong theme, but they might just have a standard mechanism, basically. And in this one, well, this is a deck builder, which I do enjoy as well, as you already know by now. But it's like the cards and how you play the cards and what you need to do in order to complete the mission. It's so different depending on which movie it is. I mean, if you're playing the first Alien movie, obviously in the end you need to have this little, this huge, what's it called in English? Like the machine thingy that you lift boxes with and whatever. And you need to, push the alien out of the ship, just like in the movie. It's so cool. I really enjoy it. And I have videos of all of these, Firefly, Predator, and Alien solo playthrough series that you can go check out on the channel. They're all in the playlist that is, linked below. So I just took the X-Files here because it's the latest one, and just, it's the best video I have out of it as well, because the other ones are fairly old. But still, you can watch those, and if it's like living through the story or experiencing the TV show or the movies and so on. And yes, so good. Legendary Encounter series, love it. And finally, for this video, the one that just missed the top 10, at place 11, Seven Wonders Duel. And of course, this has been in my top 10 for 3 years earlier on here. So, and the only reason it dropped down is because there's a new game in the top 10, basically. So something had to get pushed down a little bit, and Seven Wonders is good, and I like the card draft, but here you have an open card draft. I like that even more, when you draft the cards from the board, and you can plan, you can see what your opponent is about to get. If I take this card, then my opponent will get that or that card. Is that worth it for me? And of course, with the expansion, the Pantheon expansion that I have showing in this video here, it's a fairly old video, but it's with when the Pantheon expansion came out there, 2016, I think, and that's a lot assuming. And anyway, yeah, it's so good, and you have these really, I love the artwork, I love the components. I have these metal coins and all that. And with the expansion, you have the gods as well, so you don't have to take a card from the display. You can instead invest in one of those gods and, get the benefit from that. And I really love how there's 3 different ways to win. That's what I was supposed to say about Seven Wonders. And you're getting just points, right? But in this game, you can win mid-game if you push up your military enough, or your science. And I love that. And even if nobody wins on military or science, there's always that threat going on. Like I can see that, okay, my opponent is getting close to having all those science cards. I need to start drafting those, even though I might not really go for that strategy myself. And that makes it so good. Really love the push and pull and the back and forth in this lovely 2-player game, Seven Wonders Duel. And yeah, that was it for this 10 games. Now, we only have 10 more games to go, and that's going to be really exciting. That's coming tomorrow, if you're watching this as it just came out. Otherwise, you can just go check it out after this. That's a bit longer video because we're 3 guys talking about our top 10 games and sort of discussing our picks and so on a little bit. But we had a really good time recording that. We actually recorded it before this one, which is a bit weird, but that's how it goes. And yeah, can really recommend you to check that out as well. And thank you so much for watching this series. If you watched all this way, all the way here, I mean, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed making it. I really think it's fun to do these top 100 lists, or I love doing top 10 lists of things as well. Ranking stuff is fun. And yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you will check out the channel during Christmas and the New Year's weekend and all that, because I'll do a bunch of videos and live streams and so on as well. Have a great evening or morning or whenever you're watching. Take care. Bye bye.
Be like Draco. Follow Board Games with Niramas on Facebook at BGW Niramas.